I'm always fascinated by people who've built product-based businesses, and especially with a product like tea where we physically ingest it. I can imagine that going through the process of getting that all together, creating it, getting it certified, all of those things would have been a really interesting process. Can you share, that story with us?
Yes. I mean, I never set out to become a tea merchant. My background is product design, full disclosure. So
Oh,
I do
cool.
love design, and I've always
That's why
but
they
become
look so
more.
good. That's why they
Yeah,
look so amazing.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I've always enjoyed like industrial design. My career took me through the path of customer experience design. So that's what I was doing for organizations in New Zealand, some of our big telcos, Westpac,
Mm,
designing their customer experience. We're trying to improve it. It's only so much you can do with corporates.
yes.
So I've kind of always really loved the design process. And when this challenge in my life came up, and then the tea was sort of this tool that I was using for conversations and for myself, kind of just felt natural to develop it and design it. And part of my role at the time was doing customer research. So I would give customers, broadband boxes, and they'd have to like unbox the broadband and plug it all in and figure out like, do the instructions make sense? So my job is to test, does it make sense? And so it
Yes.
makes sense to also test my tea, because the one thing if it works for me, but and so I gave tea to my colleagues and their sisters and their friends, and I said, please try, these different teas,
Mm.
keep a diary, let me know what works, what doesn't work, what you like, what you don't like. At the same time, I would go to markets and I would give different samples to customers, and I'd be like, what do you like about these from a taste perspective? So it actually took me about 18 months to get the first blend that I was happy with.
Mm.
And I only sold anxiety in the markets and, to friends and stuff for a year and a half as well. And then we went into lockdown.
Oh,
My job.
joy.
Yeah. I lost my job at the airline that I was working for at the time. And so I thought, well, look, let's double down and focus on tea. The whole country was under a lot of stress, and
Mm.
there was a big movement towards supporting small businesses. And New Zealand
Yes.
really, really got behind that. There was this Facebook group, and people were sharing different businesses, and it grew exponentially, and that
Wow.
kind of launched the brand a bit. And then I thought, oh, I better start like doing this properly. That's
Yeah.
registered with the council and went through all that process, and it's quite overwhelming. I remember the first process of actually being registered with the Ministry of Primary Industries here, and it was like a 70-page document, and I was just reading through it, and I was like I'm, you know, I work with horrible insurance forms and tell me
Yeah.
like that stuff's gibberish, but even this was like, oh my goodness, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. But actually, like anything in business or any problem in life, you just start it, one thing at a time and just work through. And
Mm.
so
That is the
that's
best advice. We need to put a pin in that. That is literally the best advice ever. Like, when you have a giant challenge in front of yourself, just like micro focusing in on the next step, and not thinking about the 70-page document, just thinking about question number one.
yeah,
It
that's
is like the best way to get through anything.
yeah, that's right. And so slowly chipping away at it. And I mean, it's your product is, it anyway. So actually it's not that hard once you get started, but that getting started is still very scary. And then it kind of, just you kind of keep going, and then somebody says, oh, have you done this? And you're like, oh no, I didn't do that. So some of it was me being proactive, other times it was just
Kind of.
mistakes. So
Well, and that's it. Sometimes I think as a business owner, we just trip over something and be like, oh, we need to solve that now.
yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. So a lot of tripping over, but it's kind of it's working. So yeah.
Oh my God, it is definitely working. It's a gorgeous product to a very important problem that a lot of us have, I think. So no, you should be so proud. I absolutely love it.